Are you struggling with addiction or alcohol problems? If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares. Call 800-854-1055. 800-854-1055.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction Hope and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares. Call 800-854-1055. 800-854-1055. 800-854-1055.
The following is a live copyrighted presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for RadioLawTalk.com with your host, Frederick Penney, attorney at law. And now, RadioLawTalk.com.
Oh yeah, touch that something I think you understand. Now I need a scrubbing. I gotta wash my hands. I gotta wash my hands. I gotta wash my hands.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time now for Radio Law Talk. Let's go talk to our host, Mr. Frederick Penney, attorney at law. Hello, Fred.
Hey, what's going on? Hour number 3, I've put my deodorant on. I've combed my hair. I have 4 hairs left, maybe 5, I think, on top.
But they're looking good.
I'm looking worse than my dad did when he was in his 40s and 50s. But we're live here on Radio Law Talk. We're excited to be with you, and we have to thank a number of affiliates. We have some great affiliates that have just joined us. And I probably should go to the website. I have a website that I can look. KITZ, Silverdale, Washington, 1400 AM. We also have KGTK, Olympia, Washington, 920 AM. KDJI, Holbrook, Arizona, 1270 AM. KVWM, Shallow, Arizona, 970 AM. And WTEL, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 610 AM. Welcome, welcome. We're so thankful that you are joining us on Radio Law Talk. Anyone that can last 3 hours listening to me talk has got to be someone special. Or they're bored because of the coronavirus and they're sitting at home. They have nothing better to do but to watch Fred Penney talk or listen to us talk. And, you know, we've got Denise Dirks. Hold on, Denise. I'm going live on my Instagram. Denise Dirks is she's not a criminal lawyer. She is a family law lawyer. We've got Cal Hunter behind the hermetically sealed glass. If you want to call us at 855 Law Radio, you can talk to us live, and you can talk to a number of us. So anyway, if you guys want to talk about the coronavirus, you should listen to number 1 and number 2 hours, because we talked about the coronavirus. We're going to talk about Lamar Jackson lawsuit. We're going to talk about PG&E pleads. We already talked about that, but we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson and Lori Laughlin. We're going to do a case or no case. Case or no case is where we have a case that Cal Hunter, our director and producer, gives us a case, and then we're going to determine whether or not it's a real case, and if it's a real case, what the outcome is. And then that's the thing that everybody likes to play, Cal. So let's do the case or no case. And if you want to join us live at Radio Law Talk, RadioLawTalk.com.
Yeah. Now, a company that bought some potentially valuable patents has a problem. Somebody else is using them. So now, this is a 3-point question. I'm going to give you 3 things. 3 things that I want you to remember. If you remember them, this is a 3-pointer. If you don't, I'm removing one of your points from today.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm kidding. I won't do that. Who is Elizabeth Ann Holmes.
Hold on. Elizabeth
Ann Holmes. What was the name of her company? What is the name of her company, and what did they do? If you guys can give me those answers, I will gladly give you 3 points today. 3 points today. Elizabeth Ann Holmes.
Hey, Cal, can I ask you a question?
Sure, knock yourself out.
What's the airspeed velocity of a unladen swallow?
Of a what?
Of a unladen swallow.
It is slightly higher than a blackbird.
Oh.
So what has Elizabeth Ann Holmes got to do with patents?
Oh, it's a great question.
Name of company and what did they do? Okay,
Yeah,
come on,
great
Denise,
question.
what is it?
Denise, it's your turn to go first because Fred went first last hour.
So it has nothing to do with a case or a no case?
I didn't say that.
But it's just, he was
I didn't
asking
say
you,
that. Just
who
play
is
along
Elizabeth
with me.
Ann Holmes?
This is a little bit
Holmes.
unorthodox, but we aren't,
Holmes.
in coronavirus times. So,
Name of company.
how
What
quickly
did
we
they
forget.
do?
Elizabeth Ann Holmes. I'm going to give you another
Give me a
15
little-
seconds.
Can you
Oh my
give us a little
gosh.
hint?
What is the name of her company and what do they do?
Can
Yeah.
you give us a hint? Don't you agree, Denise?
Yeah,
You
that's
should give us a
hard.
hint.
It's
Okay.
Just a hint. A hint.
Okay, here's the hint.
People are
The name of her
855
company.
Law Radio.
The name of her company is Theranos. That's the hint. That's the hint you get.
how would you spell that?
Theranos. And remember, at home and in the studio, no
Theranos.
Googling.
No,
No, we're
No,
not.
you
we're
guys
not.
would never. You guys would never. I'm not saying
And
you.
Todd's
would.
at home Googling,
Yeah,
though. You
I'm
can
sure
bet
he's
that.
Googling. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, Theranos. Mm-hmm. Okay. So Elizabeth Holmes is the CEO for Theranos.
Way to drag it out there, girl.
But in order to get the points, you must tell me what they did.
And what do they do or do they did?
Well, the company's still in business, yeah.
So what do they do? I would say that they do flu.
You think that they make Theraflu?
Yes.
Uh-oh, someone's calling in. That means they know, Cal.
Well, we'll find out in a second.
Ask them. Hold on. We want to find out. Okay, you say it's Theraflu, Elizabeth Ann
Theranos.
Holmes.
Yeah, it's got to be coronavirus related,
Yeah,
right?
it's got to be something. Name of company. Okay, I already have my guess. So
she's probably a very famous scientist, and that she helped to discover and patent flu.
Theraflu.
If Randy Griffin on. Randy wants to talk to us. Randy, where are you calling from? Randy, where are you calling from? Randy, hello. Wait, let me put him on air first. That would be helpful,
All right.
wouldn't it? Okay, Randy, where are you calling from? Sorry.
Yeah, turn your radio down,
calling-
Randy. Got to turn your radio down.
Yeah, I don't have my radio.
Good.
Oh.
Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Fairbanks, Alaska.
Awesome,
Oh,
buddy.
I've been there.
Awesome.
I
Okay.
have family that live there.
So tell me what you know about Elizabeth Ann Holmes and Theranos.
Randy, don't
No.
tell it. Wait a minute. Don't tell. Give us a hint. Let him give us a hint.
Oh, yeah. Give
Just
them a
give
hint
us
if you
a
can.
hint.
Give
Cal
them a hint.
gave us a horrible hint.
Oh, it's a great hint.
Theranos,
It's a
whatever that
great
is.
hint. Come on.
No, give us a hint. Don't tell us yet.
I'm sorry. I also hear a big echo talking back at me, but
Oh.
I don't know if I'm hearing you live
Yes.
or not.
We're
I had a
live.
question about a different subject.
Oh.
okay, darn it. I'm sorry. Okay,
well,
well
can
we're
you put him on hold and we'll get
Yeah,
it later?
we'll put you on hold. Hang on a minute. I'm sorry. My bad. Hold on. Okay. All right. So you guys are basically saying you don't know. Is that
No,
what
I
you're trying
said
to
what
tell
I
me?
know. I told you.
Theraflu. She says Theraflu.
Okay, that's great.
I'm
That's
going
a
to
great
say
answer. Great answer.
it has something to do with coronavirus. I'm going to say Elizabeth Ann Holmes. She owns a company called Robitussin DM.
Oh, so you think both of you think these are both OTC, over the
Medical,
counter
yes,
kind of
yes.
thing? Huh. Well, that's really interesting that you would think that. You know, this is the first time today that I've skunked you guys. First time today.
Well, so that was an
First time
easy
today.
skunk.
So, well, now
So
that
it's
was
all made up?
No.
Tell
I'm
me
saying
who
that
Elizabeth Ann Holmes is.
Elizabeth, I'm going to give you part of it because I don't think we'll be able to get to all of it before we break, but maybe we can. Elizabeth Ann Holmes was the glamour-obsessed CEO of Theranos Company, and remember, she was the company that claimed she'd come up with this little tiny minimal sample blood test that could pretty much determine everything.
Oh, yes,
And
I remember that.
Even if your mother had slept with Bill Cosby, she said she could figure out anything. Okay, that's a joke.
The
On
blood
this blood
test.
test, right? Turned out she was a good liar and a good fundraiser, right? So they sold some patents that they owned, and all of a sudden, after all of this, the patents came very much in dispute. So I think rather than my giving you the whole thing right now, because I don't think I can get to it, it's going to take just a little bit of time. So that's what I'm going to have to do, I'm afraid.
Okay, let's move on.
It's a good story.
When we come back, we're going to talk about Theraflu and Robitussin, right? That's what we want to talk about. But we're going to talk about the blood test, patents, and then we're going to get in and talk about Lori Laughlin and Lamar Jackson. We want the Lori Laughlin thing's the most interesting thing you're going to hear. I'm telling you. Denise and I have a few little spins on it. We'll be right back.
And maybe we can find out more about our caller.
Yeah, we'll find out about it.
And so we'll get Alaska. More from Case or No Case is coming. Right back. Calls us from Alaska. I think it may just be a random call, but we'll find out, won't we? Yeah, I'll get more information. Stay tuned. Radio Law Talk is coming right up. Don't go away.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
Jason Ross back here with Fred Penney, managing attorney from Penney & Associates Injury Lawyers. Now, Fred, what type of cases are you dealing with now, and what sets you apart?
Jason, we help people with all types of personal injury cases. We're former insurance company trial lawyers. We understand the other side, which gives us a distinct advantage over our competition. Remember, we don't get paid unless we win.
That's Penney & Associates Injury Lawyers with locations throughout California. For a free consultation, go to pennylawyers.com or give them a call, 1-800-616-4LAW. That's PENNEY lawyers.com.
This is Denise Dirks. We can represent clients in divorce, legal separation, child and spousal support, custody, termination of parental rights, step-parent adoptions, guardianships, and even conservatorship matters. Call 1-877-886-7186 for a consultation.
The law offices of Denise L. Dirks provide family law services in Northern California. When the law affects your family, call 877-886-7186. The family of attorneys at Denise L. Dirks is here to help.
Hi, I'm Frederick Penney of Penney & Associates Injury Lawyers. I bet you're tired of hearing lawyer commercials. So just relax and listen to music for a few seconds. When you or a family member has been injured, call 800-616-4LAW or see us at PenneyandAssociates.com. See, that wasn't so bad.
I've got to get my car washed. This dirt, it just won't do. But I don't have no time today. I don't know what I do.
Man, I know this place right down the road. Quick Quack Car Wash. Hop inside, let's take a ride and watch this cat and shine. Just come and see, I guarantee your ride will steal the show. Come on, Quick Quack Car Wash. Don't drive that dirty car. Quick Quack Car Wash. They'll have you looking sharp.
This is Frederick Penney,
Todd Cunin,
and Denise Dirks with a personal invitation to you who have a business that could benefit from a little national exposure.
Radio Law Talk is heard in more than 35 markets across the United States, and Radio Law Talk provides that opportunity.
Some of you have listened to the show and thought, my business should be advertising there right now. We agree.
So email info@radiolawtalk.com,
and we'll get right back with you.
Let us help your business grow in multiple markets. Email info@radiolawtalk.com now.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14,
31, 13.
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street. Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds, I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. feed the pig.
I like the Amargosa Valley.
You're listening to RadioLawTalk.com. And now back to your host, Frederick Penney.
Remember, at Radio Law Talk, you can call us at 855-LAW-RADIO. Denise, what is that actual number, 855-LAW-RADIO? What's the number?
It's 855-529-7234.
And was it Vincent? Who's our caller? Not Vincent.
Randy.
Randy. What did Randy have to say from Alaska?
Randy
By the
was
way,
calling from Alaska, and he said, listen, I'm gainfully employed. I get money, a little one-time payment from the Alaska government every year. He said, I don't really want or need this $1,200 stimulus payment from the government. Now, he said, if you send me a check, I can just send it right back to him, no big deal. But if they use last year's tax records and they just plop it into my account, what do I do if I don't want this money? And I think he's saying, I don't want to donate it to somebody other than the government. I want to put it right back where it came from.
Right.
So I'm not a burden on society by taking that
By the way,
payment.
good for you, dude. I like good for you.
Good for him.
And
Yeah.
Cal has the answer. Cal, you know where to put it, right?
Where?
In your pocket.
Yeah, just send it to me.
Send it to Cal
I'll take care of Radio Law Talk.
Cal needs some more drive-through marijuana. So
But I think it's a great question. I think there are many people who really feel that way. I mean, like me, I'm working full time. I haven't missed not 1 hour of work since this whole thing started because I'm in an essential industry, communications, and
true.
B, I like to work, and I get out of the house that way.
Well, Donna makes you get out of the house.
She loves it when I leave.
Yes, that's exactly right. So I think a lot of it is you can, like Denise came up with it, you just don't fill out the information where to send it.
Yeah, you don't give them your bank information because they're going to achieve these for the most part by doing bank deposits.
Right, but if you've already done
bank
it,
transfers.
let's say you've already done it with your bank. Like last year, you said, okay, send my refund to my bank. If you already have that on record, it's going to show up.
I think I'd talk to my CPA and they could let you know.
Yeah.
Because I think there is a way to reject it or not accept it. But I would like to say he gets the permanent dividend fund. That is the payment that all Alaskans get once a year.
Right.
And when I lived in Alaska, that was a long time ago, when I lived there, it was $1,000 per person. So I'm assuming it's that or maybe a little more by now. And that also is very helpful.
I don't know. You know what's so funny about all this coronavirus stuff? It's moving so, and law moves fast, and we as lawyers have to understand stuff. You just can't keep up with it right now. It's obviously I'm a personal injury lawyer, so I don't do that. But still, it's just the laws everything's so fluid right now.
And my CPA says that they haven't even gotten forms yet. That it's going to be a couple weeks out before the forms are going to come to the CPAs to help assist in the relief efforts, and they don't know what forms to do and they don't know how it's going to work. So really, we're kind of all up in the air, not knowing until we get further detail. And go to your professionals. That's really where you need to go. You can go to your legislatures, and you can also go to your CPAs because the CPAs are going to know fairly soon.
Okay, now listen. I want to say this. We were talking about before we get to the next thing, but Cal, you were going to tell us what the heck this Elizabeth Ann Holmes and the blood test had to do with anything.
Yeah, after the Theranos scandal broke, she was a fraud, but it wasn't apparently completely so. When the bloodletting was all done at the blood testing company and Theranos shut down, Elizabeth Holmes faced wire fraud charges, but a Japanese investment group nonetheless bought a lot of their good patents. They did some good work. So the company behind the lawsuit, Fortress Investment Group, said that it doesn't know BioFire Diagnostics, but this diagnostics company started using some of the patents from Theranos in a COVID test, and they were just...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's a fascinating story to me. But apparently BioFire is a Japanese mega hedge fund, SoftBank, that goes out and buys patents and sits on them as collateral.
Oh, there's a name for that.
I can't think
of that name. It almost sounds like a criminal name. It's funny.
But that's what this is all behind, because one group said, look, we have these patents. They work. You can use them free. And the Japanese company said, wait a minute. We bought those patents. Wait a minute. No, you can't.
Yes, you can't pay us.
So they're fighting it out of court. It hasn't been resolved yet. That's why I didn't make a case or no case out of it.
Oh, but
Yeah.
it was a case. Did they file suit?
Yeah, it's actually happened. Yeah.
Oh.
And so
Because they're trying to use it for the coronavirus
Right.
stuff?
Yeah,
So
part
you-
of what they did. So I couldn't make a case or no case out of it. I wasn't smart enough to. So I had to use the trivia lesson with Elizabeth and the Theranos company.
That's interesting.
But and by the
Well,
way, these
I think since Todd's gone, we should just get a token point for that.
Okay.
How about a show-up
I
point?
would have told you if you
How
didn't get
about-
any, I was
how
going to take
about a-
off a point. So
Well, how about a trophy? Everyone gets a trophy, Cal, nowadays.
It's a good point. I'm just saying by the fact that I didn't take off a point because you didn't know, I'm actually awarding you a point for that.
All right. That's case or no case. Thank you very much.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is case or no case for this hour.
Join us next week.
Denise, Fred.
Next week. So Lori Laughlin, everyone knows there's 13 parents along with Lori Laughlin still outstanding saying they're not guilty of doing anything wrong with the admission scandal. There's a number of people that have already said that they've pled and they've got a few months in jail and some fines, and this all comes back to, ladies and gentlemen, where they're claiming, and again, it's all allegations, that this man by the last name of Singer, William Rick Singer, and by the way, he came to a local high school just down the road. Why did I say twice? I don't know why. Just down the road from us right here in our studio.
Well, that's where he was centered. He was centered out of Sacramento.
Out of California, yes. And that's where we're based out of Northern California area. And there's some very important things that he did that he was found guilty of fraud, et cetera, et cetera. But a lot of the families said, he told us we're just giving to charity. He didn't say that he's going to commit fraud with money to bribe people to get our kids in. But all we doing is we're donating to charities and stuff like that.
Or the universities.
University.
Yeah.
And that's what, and so that's the setting for those of you who don't know what's going on there. So all along, Lori Laughlin says, no, we did not know he was committing fraud, bribery, or bribing. We just donated to a university. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, jury out there, those of you who are ripping, oh my gosh, well that's quid pro quo. That happens all the time.
But I'll bet they did know the kid wasn't qualified to get into the school.
I don't know, but wait till you hear what we have to say, what the government supposedly did. I don't know. The old saying, 2 wrongs don't make a right. I don't know.
Or in the case of the government, 3 or 4 wrongs don't make a right.
And maybe they're going to argue it wasn't the government. It was that we're going to say maybe it was Singer's lawyer.
Or the FBI.
The FBI. All right, we'll be back. We're going to talk about this. Come back.
Wow, sounds fascinating. You won't want to miss a second of what's coming up right now on Radio Law Talk, wherever you're listening, your favorite radio station, or on radiolawtalk.com. Stay tuned. More of the show is coming up right after this.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
Hi, my name is Lily. My mom and dad used to fight about money all the time. Then one day, I heard them talking about this guy, some uncle I never knew, called Uncle Sam. Well, they say this Uncle Sam guy wanted them to pay him like $1 gazillion, and they didn't have $1 gazillion. So they called this company they heard on the radio called the Tax Doctor. And the Tax Doctor worked with Uncle Sam's people. I think they're called the IRS. And they were able to work it out so my mom and dad didn't have to pay Uncle Sam very much money at all. So now mom and dad are happy, and I'm happy too. Thanks, Tax Doctor.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state, call now and pay less. 800-263-2610. 800-263-2610. That's 800-263-2610. Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-814-5108. 800-814-5108. 800-814-5108. That's 800-814-5108.
If you pay my fee, I'll take your case.
Time to get back to Radio Law Talk on RadioLawTalk.com and on your favorite radio station.
Well, I think we just finished up talking about martial law. Is there anything else you want to? It's not being implemented yet. We're not. If it comes to that, we'll talk about it later. But for right now, I think we're just going to move on from martial law. Yeah. So I want to talk about Avenatti. It's a very interesting thing. So Michael Avenatti is in prison right now, or is it jail? I can't remember if he's in prison or jail. I believe he's in prison.
He's in a jail. I think he's awaiting sentence.
Awaiting in California.
Yes.
That's right. He's in jail. But what he did, he just did a motion with his attorneys to say he wants to be relieved from jail temporarily from a federal jail, citing issues that he's got a bout of pneumonia and where he's staying has filthy conditions, which he's probably. I don't think they would keep it that filthy. I think they're pretty good about keeping it clean, but I'm sure compared to where he used to live, it is.
It's a very subjective analysis.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Compared to what I'm used to.
Yes, that's exactly right. But basically, he's trying to get out, and saying he's and be put freed under electronic monitoring until this pandemic is over, because he's worried about in the jails getting the coronavirus. So there he goes. He's trying to get out and say, look. I don't want to get the Pandora.
Yes.
I don't want to get the.
It's a very
virus.
Boxy virus.
Yeah. I don't want to get the virus. So send me out of jail.
And that would be a very what would you call it? A kind of a defenseless kind of population to the virus. I mean, if it gets into that system.
I mean, the jail system.
Yeah.
What do they do?
That's just scary.
However, of all of the places. Look, we have all of these things going on trying to stop the spread among people who have the liberty to come and go. But if there was an environment that had the best hope of being able to clamp down on it to prevent things from coming in and going out, you would think it would be the prison environment, because they can immediately limit all visitation. By the way, that has happened in my jurisdiction. I can go visit a client who's in custody, but their family members can't. So they can clamp down on that. They can clamp down on the number of vendors that come in to service things in the jail. So
yeah, but they're not 6 feet apart.
Yeah, no, this is what he says.
Yeah.
So what Avenatti, this is through his lawyer, said that the facility is especially dangerous because unsanitary conditions occur in a place where pretrial defendants come from across the world and staff enters and leaves without being screened. He also notes that there's a recent 8-day lockdown because one of the guns from the officers was missing that was within the jail, so they're in a lockdown. He was confined in his cell with 3 rats, he says, 3 rats, and left inmates without clean water, forcing to drink from the sink that often contained brown water. So no hand sanitizers, and nobody's wearing masks or gloves. So this is what they're bringing up to the judge to try to get him out, temporary to wear an ankle brace thing, and he can go home while they're awaiting trial in Los Angeles right now. Is that correct? Because New York, he already was found guilty. Now they're doing Los Angeles. Is that right?
No, that's Weinstein.
That's Weinstein.
He's in back east. He's in New York.
Doesn't he?
He's in New York.
This is the Nike thing. You're still in New York, right?
Yeah, but doesn't he have to go in? He's got one more trial?
He still has issues in New York. The state bar is still going after him.
Got it. Okay.
But he's in New York, but he's still got to come back to California
That's
to
what
face the music there.
Because there's a Stormy Daniels issue.
Yes.
There's a couple more that are coming
Here
out.
it is. Avenatti awaits June sentencing after he was convicted of trying to extort $25 million from sportswear giant Nike. He also also faces criminal trials in New York next month and Los Angeles in May. That's why, okay, so he's temporarily waiting for all that stuff, and they're saying, I want out because of the coronavirus. Well,
And
there you go.
He didn't mind the 3 rats, except the third one was named Shemp instead of Curly. He
there
wanted
you
the
go.
funny ones. But anyway.
The thing about his argument, I think that Avenatti makes a great argument for the release of lower level inmates who are looking at serving terms if convicted of less than a year or less. He makes a great case for that, of which he is not part of that group. And if the courts decide, as they are considering, to release the lower level inmates to reduce the prison crowding, then his concerns are alleviated. He gets to space because, the crowd leaves. So thank you, Mr. Avenatti.
Well, we got also problems with Katy Perry that are getting better for her. Remember, this was a copyright infringement they're trying to claim. We talked about it. That she ripped off a Christian rapper song, and she won and the Christian rapper won $2.8 million. The appellate court just threw it out and said, nope, that's not going to be the case. Katy Perry did not, and also Capitol Records, they did not infringe upon his copyright of his song, and just basically said, they did not satisfy what's called the extrinsic test, which is requiring copyright plaintiff to identify concrete elements based on an objective criteria that works are similar. So basically, the court said, well, I don't care what the jury found. We don't find it, and it's out.
Wow.
So Katy Perry, even though 2.8, everyone's like, 2.8 million, that's great. No, that's not a lot of money when it comes to these copyright infringements, especially since that song probably made, at one time I knew what it made, but it was an astronomical amount of money. But now it's thrown out. So,
but to Juicy J, who didn't sell bupkis, comparatively, that 2.8 was a big deal to Juicy J.
But guess what? Right. What do we always say about these copyright infringement
Publicity,
lawsuits?
baby. Yeah.
Publicity. Now this Christian rapper guy has been talked about.
That's right.
So there you go.
And you remember the guy that stole the secrets from Google? His name was Lewandowski.
Yes. Tell me about that.
He has just pled guilty to stealing those secrets, and he's going to get no more. Well, he may get more. The judge has discretion, but the federal prosecutors agreed to recommend a prison term of no more than 30 months.
That's on the automatic driving car case? Is that what we're talking about?
The self-driving.
It's
a technology.
Right. Yeah, and he hired his competitors' people and grabbed their technology. Is that what happened? That was
he took Google's technology and then he took it over to not Uber. Yeah, it was Uber, wasn't it?
Yeah, whatever. Or took it to
Uber-owned company. It was Uber directly.
Yes.
Yeah.
30 months. Okay, we'll see that. We're going to see what's
nothing.
happening there. No.
The only thing I would say about the Katy Perry case really quickly is that it wasn't an appeals court that did that. It was the judge.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was the judge, notwithstanding a verdict.
JNOV. It's called a JNOV.
Yes, and so there will be an appeal to an appellate court, but it was the judge who heard all the evidence along with the jury that said.
I apologize. I thought it was an appellate court.
I don't think so. So.
I know, because it was just like the beats or something, right? It wasn't like even the music part of it.
So what a JNOV is where the jury gives a verdict, and this is what they say. The judge can overturn it and say, nah, not enough, in my opinion.
Yep.
That tells you how much power. People say, well, who should I vote for Congress or for the Assembly? I'm like, I'd look at your judges. They've got more power than that. I mean, that's
right.
Look at that.
So that's called a judgment, notwithstanding the verdict.
Yep, JNOV. Yeah.
I did note in one of the articles it was the attorney for the plaintiff in that case was quoted as saying, well, after we won the trial, I told my client, this is just the first hurdle. Don't start spending the money or get your hopes up yet, because we've got the JNOV to get passed, and then it ain't over till it's
Thanks
over.
for being my co-host and check. I thought for sure I thought it was the appellate. Maybe I read it wrong, but again, we're going as fast as we can through these cases because we're trying to get through them. Weinstein, the bankruptcy. So there's a Weinstein company, right? He has his own company that everyone's trying to get money out of him, and I believe it was. Again, don't quote me. I know it was worth hundreds of millions of dollars, his company. And his company was called...
Was it Miramax?
Miramax.
Yes.
Miramax. Films, and there's so many of these individuals that are claiming sexual harassment or what's the word?
Sexual assault.
Sexual assault. Yeah, that's the word I'm looking for. Against his company, and now his company has declared bankruptcy, and the question is, what's going on with the bankruptcy there? I actually don't remember. I think the bankruptcy has been halted for. I remember. They suffered an appeal, the Weinstein Company's bankruptcy sale. I don't remember all the details of it, but all I know is basically they're trying to thwart the bankruptcy, that is the plaintiffs, and apparently
wasn't there a fight between those who had settled?
I don't remember. I just know the basics of this. I don't know all the details of it. That's why I'm just saying, trying to get through this. But anyway, basically they're trying to figure out whether or not this bankruptcy will be stayed or not, and that's where we are. So I don't remember that. I'm just trying to get through this as quick as I can.
They did reach the settlement back in December of 2019 for $25 million for 30 different women that had filed complaints, and so they're going. I want to get that money before any bankruptcy goes down.
And then when we come back, we're going to talk about what I was trying to get to. I'm pushing is the Supreme Court cases and how it's going to affect us within the next 6 months.
Yes.
Todd's going to talk about that. Then we're going to get into our quick takes and talk about anything else you want to. Really briefly, what industries are going to be hurt worst and why, and how the bankruptcy attorneys are going to be really busy. We'll be back.
Stay tuned. You're listening to Radio Law Talk.
All advertising for legal services on Radio Law Talk is strictly for the state or states in which the advertiser is licensed. For more information, go to radiolawtalk.com.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252. 800-296-1252.
Dish TV is better than cable TV. Why? Because you can save 45% on packages compared to your high-priced cable bill. Wow. Take those giant scissors out and cut the cable and save with Dish TV. Plus, you get a free DVR upgrade to record your favorite shows and free installation. And with Dish Anywhere, you can watch TV for free on your mobile device. Act fast. You can save hundreds of dollars. Does your cable company do that for you? I don't think so. Get all the best TV programming at your fingertips at a fraction of the price of cable TV. So say adios, arrivederci, goodbye to the high cable bill and save up to 45% on Dish TV packages today. These are limited time offers and can change at any time. Call fast. 800-814-5108. 800-814-5108. 800-814-5108. That's 800-814-5108.
At TicketChocolate.com, we believe that simplicity is best. We also know that chocolate is one of life's finest things that can help you savor your greatest moments. Late night visits with old friends, overdue romantic moments, and quiet mornings all to yourself. See their wide variety, like hot chocolate sticks or creamy marshmallows, and a lot more at TicketChocolate.com. They remind busy people like you to take time for the pleasure small things can give. TicketChocolate.com, where simplicity is best.
Not all law firms have extensive experience in all areas of the law. It's wise to look for firms that have knowledge and understanding in your particular area of concern. So go to prolawfirms.com. They have listings of attorneys in key areas of practice, such as family law, estate planning, personal injury, bankruptcy, and so forth. When you're looking for a lawyer that has extensive experience in your particular area of need, go to prolawfirms.com. That's prolawfirms.com. ProLawFirms.com is not a law firm and does not endorse or recommend any specific law firm.
Today we decided to walk to school. At the corner, we waited to cross the street. The stoplight counted down. 15, 14.
31? I mean, 13?
We took a left on Carroll Garden Street.
Garden Street?
Loud music was coming from a car. Danny's a smart kid, but he gets so distracted.
There were so many other sounds. I didn't know what to focus on.
Danny, Earth to Danny. Suddenly, he realized he forgot his homework again.
I left my homework on the table.
At the school steps, we hugged goodbye. I really hope he doesn't have another bad day at school today.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. That's why there's Understood.org, a free online resource for the parents of the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues. Get personalized recommendations, practical tips, daily access to experts, and more. Go from misunderstanding to Understood.org. Brought to you by Understood and the Ad Council.
Todd has a kitty. Oh, that's down.
Time to get back to Radio Law Talk on RadioLawTalk.com and on your favorite radio station.
Yeah, Todd does have kitties. We're talking about a lot of other things other than kitties. Talk about Supreme Court cases and how it's going to affect them. Some of them that have been put off because of the coronavirus.
So the Supreme Court publishes which cases they're going to hear in what month, in February and March. And the February cases obviously were argued. The March cases were put on hold. Those weren't heard. And by all accounts, the April cases are going to be put on hold. These are for oral arguments. And there's a lot of them, but there were 2 specific issues, 3 cases covering 2 issues that, if these don't get heard and decisions aren't made, one of them could affect the upcoming election. And they come out of the state of Washington, and one out of the state of Washington and one out of the state of Colorado. And it has to do with if these are winner-take-all states for the Electoral College. So if a candidate wins the state, then all of the electors in that state theoretically are supposed to cast their votes for the candidate that won the state. But in Colorado, they had an issue where one of the electors didn't want to cast his vote and wanted to cast the vote for somebody else. And in Washington, there was a similar issue. So the issue before the court, the U.S. Supreme Court, deals with whether or not the elector has to cast their individual vote for the candidate that won that state. And that argument was supposed to be, or is scheduled to be heard on the 28th of April. And, you'd think that the Supreme Court justices, with the election coming up in November, would probably fast track that one for getting an opinion out so that it could be used and relied upon for the election in November. But if they can't hear it in April, then that may postpone that, and an issue that came up in a previous election may not be addressed. And so that was one of those that we're looking at to see if that issue will actually be argued before the court. Denise?
Wasn't there a question about whether or not it is within the purview of the state or the federal law to make the rules regarding the Electoral College?
I know that issue has come up in the Constitution. It leaves it up to the states to determine how those electoral votes will be apportioned within it. So it's typically a state function. But look, we have gotten very far from the need for and why the Electoral College was first instituted. And folks, by that, I am not suggesting that it needs to be abolished. I'm just saying that a lot of the issues that were attendant to it back in the late 1700s have changed, not the least of which was the inability to count all of the votes that would have been cast nationwide within a 24-hour period. That wasn't possible back then. But it's an issue that's going to be addressed by the court, and one that hopefully gets resolved before the election.
Could they actually call a special session? Did the Supreme Court allow that? They might be able to. I think they probably could call a special session in order to make the argument, even though it's not April 28th, maybe they can do it the next month.
The question becomes, can they stay a safe distance from each other, or can they do it virtually and remotely and not have to be together? Because these are very vulnerable justices.
Yes, they're older.
Because they're older, and they are in that realm of being very vulnerable. Some have had cancer.
I think they should. I think they could be able to do that.
I think so too, but I think it's unprecedented.
Why can't they do it via? They can argue via video or.
Well, my guess is that right now right now they are probably exploring all of the different alternatives for having the justices do this. I mean, there was not time to implement whatever changes for the month of March. But who knows? Maybe they come in like with a little plexiglass cubicle for each justice who comes in, and they can't do that, and they're all separated. I don't know, but they'll come up with something. Hopefully they get back, not just for these cases, but there are a lot of people that have cases that need to be adjudicated. The other one deals with the Affordable Care Act, and essentially there was a rule that was promulgated that expanded the number of employers that could, or insurance providers that could lodge a conscious objection to providing birth control benefits. And
for their employees.
For the employees. But the way that the new rule went about...
That's not the Hobby Lobby case.
I don't know if it is.
Okay,
no, this is it's Trump versus Pennsylvania is the case.
Right.
But the way this new rule came about, there was no public comment section, which is normally attendant when an agency promulgates new regulations. And so a lower court issued an injunction, and the injunction prevented the new rule from being put into place. And so the issues before the court are... can they make such a rule? Is a rule valid if they circumvent the public comment? And then the big one is this last thing about, can a lower court, is it appropriate to issue a nationwide injunction like this to prevent that rule going forward? And the reason I say that is because there have been comments in other dissents and in other opinions, specifically by Justice Thomas, where he takes issue with what appears to be judicial activism or whatever he calls it about lower court justices, a single judge in one jurisdiction issuing an injunction that affects the entire nation. And so the court's going to address the propriety of that.
Also, and they just overturned one of the injunctions based upon the public trust doctrine that has come up in the immigration thing. So that's recently happened, and that's why I think that Todd's
and that's becoming the
idea
issue,
is true.
Denise. Like you're saying, that's becoming the issue. Is a lower court that really is not as powerful all of a sudden can shut a country down, a federal court saying, can't do that, shut the whole government down on an issue. On a major, and that's what they're arguing. Well, should they be able to do that? That's one issue.
Right, because courts often want to see how it impacts the public, and see all of that. If you have an injunction, they won't know how it's going to impact the public or how the public feels. And the Supreme Court wants to have a little bit of that in their back pocket to be able to utilize if they need.
Okay, let's do this quick because I want to get to something before.
One of the big reasons that came up was because a lot of people that appealed things went to the Ninth Circuit. The Ninth Circuit would issue the injunction, and the ruling, the rate of overturning Ninth Circuit opinions on the Supreme Court level was over 50%. And so the court's looking at that going, well, why are we allowing the Ninth Circuit to issue injunctions when over half the time we end up overturning what they did? So that's got to look at.
So here my granddaughter is goes to this gymnastics gymnastics company that's been around for a long time, since I remember. They officially said they're closing their doors for good. They always were because of the coronavirus and everything that's going on. No one's coming. They were on such a thin margin. This phenomenal family-owned gymnastics company is shutting down for good. They're not going to reopen after coronavirus, and that's going to affect a lot of family businesses like that. It's sad. That's going to happen, and a lot of them are going to try to come back, but they're going to have bankruptcy issues, and so bankruptcy lawyers are going to be busy coming up trying to stay off people from collecting on bills, and it's going to affect the people collecting the bills that have to pay their bills. You see, so it's almost like a waterfall. But what are some of the industries you think that are going to be the worst? I'm going to say the cruise line industry is going to struggle. That's for sure.
Yes.
What do you think, Denise?
I agree with that for sure.
Yeah, go ahead, Denise.
Dance studios, and gymnastics, vocal training, stuff like that. Yeah.
Nail salons,
yes.
Beauty salons,
yes.
Any kind of personal service type of businesses are going to be.
What about big, like water parks or stuff like that, where people gather together, or concerts? I've heard, Todd, was it you that was telling me that the guys going out on concert on tour? A lot of them, don't forget, they're all not Katy Perry. Some of them are smaller bands. They have no money.
But they're doing virtual tours now. So they're actually doing virtual concerts online and able to set that up. That was something I read today, and I thought that was amazing.
So what they're saying right now is that for the smaller for the smaller musical acts that are playing the local clubs and stuff, that on average they are losing out on about 30 gigs per quarter. Okay,
wow.
That's 30 gigs per quarter for a total lost revenue of almost $700.
Hey. No,
because they don't get any money for that.
For a working man, that could kill you. But
no, I think that, like you say, the amusements park, the bowling alleys, all
Yep,
of that.
That's it.
I'm glad that we got a chance to discuss the myriad of topics today on Radio Law Talk. But of course, now it's time for Fred Penney and his quick take.
Now that bankruptcy attorneys are going to get rich and make a lot of money, and there's a lot of openings right now in bankruptcy attorneys. You know those personal injury lawyers that think they know what they're doing? Get out of my home and go back to bankruptcy. There you go.
All right, leave my turf alone. Mr. Cunin.
What's the biggest difference between COVID-19 and Romeo and Juliet? Well, one is a coronavirus and the other is a Verona crisis.
Very nice.
And here's for some good news. Carnival Cruise is offered its ships as hospitals, and New Jersey officers are delivering meals and groceries to the elderly, and there are 2 chefs. One has transformed his restaurants into temporary soup kitchens, and the other one is giving free cooking classes on Instagram.
See you next week.
All right.
You have been listening to RadioLawTalk.com, a copyrighted presentation of Radio Law Talk Incorporated.
I'm Wayne Allen Root. I want all of you to get real. Get real. Get real water, that is. I live and die with my real water. It's the only stable negative ion alkaline water in America. I drink it everywhere I go, and it tastes great, too. Real water has upped their game again. Now with the Real Water Concentrate, you can get real water anytime, anywhere on the go. Just a few squirts of the Real Water Concentrate, and you can transform any good purified water into real water. Basically, the concentrate adds trillions of extra electrons, turning your water into an alkaline, electron-abundant powerhouse. And here's an additional benefit. You can put Real Water Concentrate in your coffee, tea, or juice. Heck, it even improves cheap wine. I challenge you to give it the taste test. You'll be amazed. Here's the deal. Since you're one of my listeners, you get a free bottle of the Real Water Concentrate. Free. 100% free. All you have to do is pay the small shipping and handling fee. Call 702-381-1217. Tell them War sent you and get your free bottle. 702-381-1217. Go to teamgetreal.com.